Action. Thank you very much. Are you feeling nervous?
Yeah.
Your energy just changed. There's like a wall that has gone up from you, from the Shane that I was just talking to.
Probably 2 years ago, I went over to my father's house for dinner. It was the first time in my life he ever told me he was proud of me.
What did you need to hear 2 years ago to fast forward you to where you are today?
That's a deep question.
Shane's here. Welcome to Build What Matters.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you for being here. You have come a long way to tell your story. Mm-hmm. Have you ever told your story publicly before?
I mean, bits of it, I suppose, through social media.
Yeah.
But maybe not the whole thing.
I'm excited to dig into the story because I think I know bits of it, and even we just chatted earlier, I don't know the full story, the highlight reel. But we are going to dig into some things that I think that other people will just really get a lot of value from. They'll see themselves in you and the story that you have to share. And I like these to be like it's a fly on the wall. And I want to just get a bit of an understanding about like what your environment looked like when you grew up. What was the environment that you were in that you would say has shaped you to who you are today?
Growing up.
Start with an easy question.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I grew up most of my life with a single mom.
Okay.
My dad was sort of out of the picture at about 2 years old.
Okay.
They split up, and I actually refer to him more as my father. And so he is a successful business person. At the time, he was building his business and working through that, and in the automotive industry. And it was tough times, I guess. Late 80s. I was born in 85. Letting everybody know how old I am now.
Okay.
40.
I'm your elder.
Yeah, 41 this year. And so, you know, he was doing his thing, and so I wasn't necessarily a priority at the time, and he wasn't around much, and you know, maybe there was some things that, you know, I don't really know as far as the dynamics of my parents' relationship and how that all played out, but from my standpoint, growing up, he just wasn't there.
Right.
And so that's, you know, I wasn't really ever given an explanation, I guess.
Did your mother ever remarry, or was it the two of you until you went home?
And I don't know how old I was, but she did end up remarrying, and I have a stepdad, or dad, and he raised me through, you know, younger years into my early teenage years, and very sports focused. Okay. And so I played football and soccer as a kid, and you know, I was the starting quarterback. I was the one of the best, I should say, on the team, and relied upon all the time by my teammates to be there.
Do you find that's a theme in your life?
Yeah, big time. And
does it give you validation? Is that something that now you're seeking, or is it just that you're naturally falling into that role?
I would say it feels like a pressure more than anything for me to have to be there for everybody all the time, and support, you know, people, and be a people pleaser. Because I was leading the team, or, you know, or whatever, and if I wasn't there, then, you know, we might not get the favorable outcome. And so it was always a need to perform and do extra.
Right.
You know, turn on the spotlight in the backyard and throw the football for hours on end to get the motion correct, and read the playbook and understand. Was that driven by you as a child, or did you find that was driven by your stepfather? Well, I think about that sometimes. I think about you know, we talk about like living your experiences or your dream through your kids. And so I wonder, like, at times, I think I've always been a very self-motivated, driven individual. And so it was probably a combination of both. And it did come with a certain amount of pressure, probably, growing up. Well, I can remember very specifically the year I didn't get the role as starting quarterback. Yeah. and that wasn't a good feeling.
And what did that mean to you?
It just meant that I didn't keep up. I didn't meet the expectation. And I don't think he ever would have said it, but probably the feeling was there that I had let people down.
Okay.
That were expecting me to rise to that occasion. It was an age thing too, because
How old were you?
I was probably 10.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was right when in sport, in football or hockey or anything, you go up in ages, and it'll be an age split. So it was as much that as well as that this other fellow was the starting quarterback.
Right.
He was now the senior and I was the junior coming in.
Yep.
But I still think that I should have gotten the role.
Just 32 years later.
Yeah, I still think that I was probably the better athlete at the time.
So tell me what happened after that. Being a parent, that I can't help but always bring in the psychology side of it. Okay, if he doesn't win, if he doesn't get the role, I'm thinking about the lessons he can learn and the resilience he can gain from that. But what was your experience then not getting the role?
I mean, for me, it created a monster. I just wanted to push harder.
Okay.
Yeah. So it just made me dig deeper and make sure that it never happened again. I don't know if that was a good thing at that age, because it just created a lot of pressure.
At 10, I mean, that's it's heavy.
Yeah. I did get the role next year.
You did get it. Yep. Came back.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that. I'm not sure. From a parenting standpoint, I think about that with my daughter and all the competitive dances and things that she's doing, and there always seems to be this line between giving compassion and grace on the days that they're not feeling like doing it, and then the times where you need to kind of go pull up your socks, kid, you got to do this. And I struggle with that actually still now because of my own experiences, and I think when is the time to kind of put the lever on a little bit and give her that push, and when's the time to be you know what, she needs a rest day today.
Right.
And so I don't know what the answer is to that one, but I guess you go with your gut and how you feel in the moment.
Let's just be real. There's a wall that has gone up from you, from the Shane that I was just talking to before we hit record.
Really?
And now it's polished and it's very almost diplomatic.
Okay.
And I just want to hear, I'm wondering if you have always been the guy that shows up. You've been the guy that does the things, right? But what makes you scared? What's the thing that changed you? You're going through something big time. So where was that shift for you? Because I think it's easy for you to fall back into that guy.
Right.
And I think that you don't want to be anymore. I think that you want to be real.
It's probably just fear. It's just being scared. Yeah. It's being scared of how you're going to be perceived or judged.
When you think about Shane, how many years ago? When you can think about the Shane that was buttoned up, didn't process, was everything is good. I'm good. You need me, I'll be there. When did that change for you?
Probably in the last year and a half.
Which is very short amount of time comparatively to your 41 years of life. And then in the last year and a half, I remember when we met, I came out to speak at a Synergy event, and that was in Kelowna.
Oh, Kelowna.
That was over a year and a half ago. So it would have been we'll call it BC Shane.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know who I was talking to, but I remember you being there, and just there was no connection, there was no draw to have a conversation, and maybe it was very polite.
Yeah.
And I'm cool, okay, that's fine. And then the second time I got flown out to Synergy to speak in Newfoundland.
Yeah.
That wasn't too long ago. That was probably a year ago.
Yeah.
You and I had a really good conversation. And all of a sudden I was oh my gosh, there's super substance to this guy.
Yeah.
He's very real. There was almost, and I don't want this to be bad, but it's it was almost a bro-y vibe. The first one.
Yeah.
And then the other one, it's depth.
Yeah.
And that's who I've seen over the past year starting to share, starting to show up. And that guy is cool.
Well, you know what? Because I've analyzed that a fair bit.
Because you're an analyzer.
Yeah. and where that, to me, is I was intimidated.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago, like when I met Mike and you, I think I was at the same conference. And like I had a very brief conversation with Mike, and I was terrified because this guy was like this public speaker.
Yeah.
He's this guy that's like doing these things at a level that I just like, who am I? And so that was the same with you. And I was just extremely intimidated. And same with like sitting in the conference and asking questions. You know how many questions I have? Like a lot of questions. And I don't want to stand up and talk because I didn't want everybody in the room to be like, oh my God, like what is this guy saying?
Okay.
Or is he saying the wrong thing? Or do I crack my voice because I'm afraid to speak on a microphone? And so I think that was the big thing. And so like Mike has actually now moved to Victoria.
Amazing.
And I like reach out to him and I was like, hey dude, like we should connect.
Yeah.
But I would have done that a year and a half ago. Him and I are doing the full Victoria Marathon in October together. And it's funny how that changed. But yeah, I was just intimidated. I was nervous to be around people that were doing things that like I didn't think were possible, or that, you know, I didn't think I was capable of.
So when you put yourself out there, you are getting back. You're getting returns. And it doesn't always come with like rainbows. It's not always great, right? There's a lot of work to it. But what was the thing? So you said a year and a half. What shifted for you a year and a half?
I didn't feel like I had a lot of purpose in what I was doing in business.
Okay.
And I felt really, I still feel a little bit misaligned on like what my direction is. But I do know that I enjoy helping people, and that's what excites me. Like that's what lights me up. Like when somebody reaches out to me and they're like, hey dude, you motivated me to do something, or I appreciate you helping me through something. That's what really lights me up. And so, you know, being a real estate agent, it's great. Like you're helping people with their biggest investment or it's an emotional time, but it doesn't quite fulfill me like having somebody reach out and be like, I went to the gym for 2 weeks straight the last 2 weeks because I saw your content and it motivated me. And I think that there's something bigger than that that I can do. I just don't know what it is yet. But then I start thinking about, like, if I'm being honest, like, am I just feeding my ego for a legacy?
Right. Even if you're doing good, you have this part of you that is saying like, yeah, but is it really good? Like, are you a really good person? Where does that even come from? I mean, I'm not a psychologist. I've got lots of education in psychology, not a psychologist, but I don't feel like it's coming from being the quarterback on a football team and not getting it that one time. Do you know what I mean? Like, and whether you share it on the podcast or not, but just thinking about that, where does that come from that you constantly tell yourself you can't do something or you shouldn't do something or...
Well, I think, I mean, I do a lot of work with a psychologist, with a counselor.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
How long have you been working with your psychologist?
I've been working with, her name's Allison Reese, for about a year and a half, and she's absolutely amazing. And I've learned so much. I'm so grateful for the work that I've done with her. And we talk a lot about, you know, guilt and shame.
That's mine.
Right?
Yes, I can with you on that.
Triggered. And,
trauma bonding here now.
Yeah. And so, you know, guilt, like a certain amount of guilt is a good thing, right? That's what makes us, you know, human and not complete narcissists, right? And but there's this shame piece. This deep-seated thing where, you know, I feel shame for things all the time. And I would say I'm still working on it. I don't know exactly, you know, why it's like that. And, you know, I've had friends that know me really deeply and they will, you know, bug me for it. Like, why are you letting that bother you so much? Like, just move on from it. Probably from that 5 to 10-year-old Shane somewhere in there. You know, that, those times of being on your own and you know, I felt probably fairly responsible for my mom's emotions growing up. When my stepdad and her split up, you know, I had to be the protector for her, but not just her, but also my sister, because my sister came into the picture.
How old is your sister?
She's, oh God, she's going to kill me.
Don't tell, okay.
Wrong. I always forget her age. I know her birthday is Canada Day.
Oh, okay.
That I know for sure. When my stepdad and my mom went through their separation, I was often the one that was protecting my sister. But I don't know how that translates into a shame.
I think that's super cool because, part of why I even want to do these conversations is not to just talk to the people that have it all figured out. Genuinely, I want to talk to people like who are in the mess, but still showing up. And that's you. Like, that's really where you're at right now. So, and I appreciate that because it's not easy. People can't see it, but we've got lights, we've got a camera. You're like in an environment that you're not used to. We're not best friends. So it's like,
honestly, like I'm like trying to like settle into this a little bit, but I even still feel a little bit shaky talking to you.
Did you feel it before we like turn the camera on? Because so and this is the interesting part. Like I'm going to go in all these different directions, but because we were just talking and we were talking about social media, and you've done like a big, almost 180 in how you're showing up now. You're showing up authentically, and it's being received well, and you're helping people, and you're going through the stuff, but you're also sharing your journey. Maybe you're used to being the guy that everything is like going really well, real self-deprecating. Yeah.
Well, I am like, that is like one of my superpowers, is that I'm able to like have that self-deprecating, like kind of joke around, like amongst the friend groups and stuff. I'm often the one that can like throw shade at myself, and then, that invites people to be vulnerable and joke around as well. And
then you don't have to be the vulnerable one. Yeah. They are.
You're on to me.
But you're easy to talk to. And I think that this, like, people watch this and relate to it. This is our 5th episode now, so whenever it airs, this will be number 5. And we've just had incredible people share, and they're doing big things out there too. And so I think that's the biggest message, is that we're all a little fucked up. Like, we're all a little crazy. We all have our stuff.
And actually going back to your point of like meeting you and meeting Mike and these other guest speakers, it's like, that's what I started to realize. And I think that was my big shift. I go up on stage and I'm still panicking, or it's still freak out or whatever. And so I think I just needed that, like, snap out of it. Like, we're all just humans, we're all just people, just learning. And so actually I'm going to be doing a fitness challenge starting in February.
Okay.
And so I'm going to be running 10K every single day.
For how many days?
30 days straight.
For 30 days?
Yeah.
In February?
In February.
There's 7th. Only 28 days.
February 7th they start.
All right.
And whatever the maths to, they finish in March.
All right.
So I've got 30 pieces of paper on my wall in my hallway, all with a different run day or different run location, a different time to start. I'm going to bring some guest runners out.
Okay.
And do all this.
Do not invite me, but that's cool.
You might not. And so when I came up with this idea, it was right over Christmas and New Year's. And I wanted to start it right in January, but I realized I needed there will be a fundraising component to it too.
Amazing.
I want to raise some money for mental health initiatives.
Love it.
And the goal with some of the guest speakers is that we'll donate some of those funds to a charity of their choice. And I'm going to match whatever donations we bring.
Incredible.
So it's going to be great. And
we will put all the details, like send me that.
It wasn't a plug, it was,
But I do want to, because that's anything that can support that type of stuff and, make impact. That's what this is about. And so please plug.
Yes. Awesome. I love it. I went down a rabbit hole, and this was between Christmas and New Year's. I was sick. I got sick for 5 days. So I was like, I couldn't do my running. I couldn't do all my things that I'm used to doing to like help with my mental health. And I got stuck in a box for 4 or 5 days. I went through an emotional roller coaster of like 10K every day isn't enough.
Wow.
Like watching you can, like, we go out on social media and you see these guys that are running a marathon.
Right.
I mean, Terry Fox ran a marathon almost every single day with one leg.
Right.
So like, who am I to just do a 10K every single day? Like, why does that matter? right? Like that's just like all these different things went through my head, and I don't know how I got out of that, but I probably a little bit of ChatGPT in and a little bit of AI counseling, but it's a tough thing for me. 300 kilometers in a month is a lot. And I've done two, I'll call them half marathons because I ran 21K, but they weren't part of any kind of a competition. I ran one on Christmas Day by myself, 21 kilometers. I think I was the only psycho out there running by people's windows.
Can't imagine why you got sick.
yeah, exactly. And then I went in even to the money piece. Like my goal is to raise $10,000, so I'm calling it 10K for 10K, yep. Right?
Catchy.
Whatever. And,
how did you come up with that?
I know, right? No, sorry. I was calling it 10K for kindness because part of what I'm going to do every day is one random act of kindness too.
I love that.
And it doesn't need to be filmed. It doesn't need to be something that I put out on social media, whether it's buying somebody's lunch or holding the door open for somebody. Like it's all on my list of my 30 days of paper. Like one thing that I need to try and accomplish. So they might get one day I got to pick up litter while I'm doing my 10K run. Like I'm just going to do these things.
Can I give you something?
Yes.
Because, so you know Angie Weeb?
Yes, Angie, yeah.
And lost her daughter.
Okay.
Ellie. This was like 15 years ago. And so Angie and her husband started this movement called the Ellie movement. And so every year they promote that random act of kindness.
Okay.
And so it happened in November. And then I went and I did a toy drive for like a big networking group here in Ottawa.
Okay.
And we dropped it off at the CHEO Hospital, Children's Hospital here. And it was amazing. I had Mark, who was actually in your seat last time here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
His daughter makes bracelets. And so I had her make, and I think it's 30. I think I asked for 25 and she made 5 extra.
Okay.
I think it's 30. And the bracelets represent Ellie for this random act of kindness.
Wow.
Can I give you those 30 bracelets that you can like give out with your random act of kindness?
Yes. Absolutely.
That's my contribution.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. What examples or demonstrations have told you that you like aren't enough and that you're not good enough?
I mean, there's always, you fail throughout life. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
So I don't know that. I mean, it probably honestly comes down to the need for acceptance from a father that wasn't there.
That makes sense.
I mean, that's like the best thing that I could come up with as far as even the shame piece too, as far as like needing his approval or needing recognition that like, hey, I did this and I didn't need you to do this.
I find it really, we never know what the thing is, right?
Yeah.
And more people are separated, divorced, and you don't have that what they would call nuclear family as much anymore. And so I wonder how many kids go through that.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's probably where that whole shame piece probably comes from if we're really digging in is just like and actually it was probably 2 years ago I went over to my father's house for dinner. And so I would have been 39 years old. And it was the first time in my life he ever told me he was proud of me.
Wow. Okay.
And I thought this was going to release it, but it didn't.
Okay. Did it make it hurt more?
Maybe.
Yeah. If you finally get the thing that you've been wanting and then realizing all that time had gone by without actually getting that.
Well, it didn't change anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like from a fundamental level, it didn't wasn't like the fairy waved the wand and I was cured, right? And so I thought I needed that.
To me, from like the outside looking in, to me, it's like clear that it comes from within.
Right.
It's like we can't control other people. We can't control what they say to us, how they feel when we do something. But all we can do is control like our thoughts and how we feel. And are you proud of yourself?
Right.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I am. I am proud of myself. It's just this internal dialogue that just like constantly wants to like railroad your progress.
So you've gone through a year and a half of counseling. you're continuing on. You're now with the self-awareness. The thoughts aren't stopping per se, but you're at least aware of it. And when we know better, we can do better.
Yes.
What kind of tools do you use? And for yourself, but also for people listening, because you are not alone.
Well, I have some daily non-negotiables.
Okay. Can you share?
I journal, which
Yes.
is huge.
Yeah.
Huge. And I didn't realize it. And honestly, my counselor told me, and I'm going to send her the link to this so then she can watch it.
Love that.
And I'm sure she'll howl because she was like, you need to journal for like a year. And I was too rough and tough for that.
Of course.
Yeah. Like,
of course.
Like journal? You mean like a diary, Allison? Is
Yeah.
that what we're talking about? Like that's what I would say to her, right? Like I'm not diary. Like
Yeah.
you get me one of those pink fuzzy ones with the little lock on it. Like I just... Right? And
Don't lie, yours is pink and fuzzy.
it is. Yeah.
You just got to lean in.
Yeah. And but that's like huge. And I've started off because again, like I need to have structure for everything and everything needs to have like this beep, boop, beep, boop. So like, I was like, I'm going to write about a certain thing and now it's just turned into like, it's a bit of a cluster, but I actually like that better. Cause initially I had like these like set points of things that I was going to write about. And, right. Because I like felt it needed to have some kind of structure. So it felt more like work than like, I don't know. But now I just like the pen hits the paper and it's whatever's on my mind.
That's
for the
amazing.
day. And I actually started using it and I shared it on my story today on the iPhone. There's the thing in the health app that you can record how you're feeling every single day.
Yes.
And so I've been using that for the last 3 weeks as well. So you can go from like very pleasant to... But I never get down to the real dark one, but down at the bottom there. And and I like that too, just to like kind of have a little bit of a benchmark and like look and go, okay. But then I think it is important to go back and like, why was I feeling that way that day? Because sometimes like you just feel crappy for no reason too. And I do a little bit of meditation.
Okay.
You know, I'll say that I do it more than I probably do.
I'm the same.
I find it a little bit fluffy. But I'll find it like if I need to like just chill out midday or something. Like if I've had a like whipping morning and I just need to like for a few minutes and my blood pressure feels high or feel like I've just been running on this level all day, I'll sometimes just plug my AirPods in and then just sit at my desk or wherever and then just listen to something for 10 minutes.
Yep.
And then exercise, moving my body.
Yeah.
Like, and there's no secret there. There's like, that's huge. To the point though, where I'm like obsessed with it though. And then when I don't get my exercise in, that's the problem now, is that then it's almost like this addictive thing. It's like not having that glass of wine before bed, if that's your thing, or whatever it is that people have. And so like, if I don't get my run in or days where I'm traveling, I'm like, ugh, you know, and so that's feels counterproductive sometimes.
I've been down that road as well, where like all I do is think about it when it just consumes me. I have addictive personality. I was a smoker myself. I just like love pouring into things and then I just can't get enough of it and it totally consumes me, but it can get to be a negative. And what I'm learning is that we were talking about the nervous system and really being able to sit in the discomfort versus distracting it.
So when you say sit in it though, like what are you like when you feel this thing come on or a certain way, are you literally just going to sit there and think about it or how are you? Okay.
Yep. Literally just being like, you know what? You are uncomfortable right now and that's okay.
Do you talk out loud?
In my head.
I will vocalize sometimes. I actually need to hear it.
I had to think about that for a second. I said that really quickly. I don't know if it was true.
Okay. All right.
It's the guilt and the shame now. I think I lied. Fair. I don't know if I talk out loud, but I certainly do have conversations inside my head and I'm just like, you know what? Yeah, you are fine right now.
Right.
You are not going to, for me it would be, I work. I'm a workhorse. Like that's just who I've been all my life. Yeah. If it's not sports, it's like business and I love it. Like it fuels me. But then when I'm done, I go whoomph. Yeah. And then I have no time for anything else. And what I have found, because, I'm a resolution girl. resolutions are getting a bad rap right now.
Yeah.
So I might get some hate for saying that, but I do love a good reset. I love a good turning of a chapter.
Do you?
And if it's going to, I don't know, introduce better habits, and
Sure.
I'm here for it. So
Yeah.
I'm in the new year mode.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling good. I'm actually feeling really good. I'm tracking my macros. I'm doing dry January.
Sweet.
And I'm finding that instead of going humph on the couch at the end of the night when it's well deserved,
Yeah.
I don't know, I have energy, or I just go to bed.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not replacing it with anything right now, and that's feeling okay.
So you like working a lot,
I love it.
and do you find that it's hard to come off of that? And then
I don't think I ever have. No, I'm joking.
Okay. Yeah, fair. I get that. I guess.
I've done a thing called vertical integration.
Okay.
So my life and my work are blended. My husband set this all up.
Yeah.
We were just in Costa Rica for a mastermind. I brought my family.
Yeah.
My son James is always a part of it. Like when I was doing real estate and he was 3 years old, he'd come with me. So it's just like always been a part of our life. Now I, working in the military, would have to balance.
Right.
And so I think that I've created this like new version of my lifestyle where I don't feel like I am needing to balance. It's like, it just is.
Right.
So when I work, like we're in my home.
Yeah.
You know, it's, to me, it's the best way. And I don't feel like I have to shut this off and then do this. It's all together.
I mean, I love it. I think that's the goal. I mean, I don't believe in the balance thing.
No.
I like the word juggle more. And it's like you've got your family, your fitness, your health,
Yeah.
and then your business.
Yep.
And, one of those unfortunately seems to take a little bit of a back seat at times. So it's like you're focused on your fitness, your health, and your family, or your fitness and your family, and then business kind of suffers a little bit.
Right.
And then, or your fitness and business is top notch, but then family suffers a little bit, or at least that's been probably the wave for me.
And that's where the integration has been so good. Like we have a home gym.
Yeah.
And these are all decisions that we had to make in order to create the environment, right? Like I was telling you when we moved here, we could have lived in town, but Canada is like house on house on house, even if it's a single family home.
Right.
And my husband and I love working out at 6 a.m, blasting music and dropping barbells. So that was a choice that we made to come 15 minutes outside of town, get a property. We talked about the garage. Our son works out with us now.
Awesome.
In my business community, there's a fitness component. So everybody is sharing their workouts and it's all integrated.
Right.
My friends are entrepreneurs. It's everything that I love, family, fitness, health, business, is welcome at any time of the process. And so I worked really hard for that. And I think that I have been so protective of it because the military is like the polar opposite.
Right.
They don't really say it anymore, but they used to be like, well, we didn't issue you a family. Your family's not issued, so therefore.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's the culture.
Yeah.
And you go away and
I guess.
family's not part of the equation and you just got to figure it out.
Right.
And they can tell you when to go. And so I think I just have become very nope, I'm keeping, these are all my balls.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep them all around me. And I love it.
Being a dad. And Danica's now 11 years old, and we're really just starting now to develop a really strong bond.
Do you find you have more time now as a realtor versus when you were in construction?
Well, it's less consistent though, the schedule. so you have to be really intentional about your time, and it's something that, you know, she's not used to. And so, you know, been working on that over the last year of just like, hey, like, you know, like I'll pick her up from school, or now she walks home from school, and it's like, hey, like, I want to spend some time with you tonight, but I also have some things that I need to do for work. And so I'll like set those boundaries, and I'll be like, do you want, you know, and I'll sometimes give her the option. Sometimes she doesn't get the option, but it's like, hey, do you want to hang out for the next couple hours and we'll do some dinner, and then dad will plug into some work tonight? Or do you want me to just hammer through my work now and get it done? And then we'll have some relaxed time at 6 o'clock or whatever. So when I have that flexibility, I'll give her that. Like if it's office work or things I need to do, of course, sometimes, you know, meetings and showings or things that are, I mean, still in my control, but are scheduled and planned, I have to work around those. But
I mean, if you got offers coming in,
and that's the other dynamic. That's the other piece. Like, I mean, that doesn't even cover that. And that sometimes is like, just like it comes at the worst times. And I mean, I have an assistant, which is great to help out, but it's still, you know, it's on me ultimately. And yeah, so I find that's probably the biggest challenge, but just kind of like letting her know, and, you know, or talking it out with her and letting her be a part of the decision when I can, of like when we're going to get together and do stuff. But it's a lot different from mom, because her mom's works you know, a more rigid schedule position, and so she's able to give her, you know, undivided attention, you know, throughout the evening. And so that's a bit of a challenge at times.
Can we talk a little bit about your parenting course? Because I think that's cool. I don't know a lot of people that go out of their way to do parenting courses, and just the fact that you do that is amazing. And what are some of the things that you're learning that any parent listening?
Wow, there's so much stuff. So I've taken 2 online courses, and that's with Dr. Allison Reese. And one is called Power Struggle, and the other one I believe is Sidestepping. And those talk a lot about family systems, gets into a lot of like how our upbringings and our nervous systems and everything that, you know, will steer the ship for your parenting. And then the newest one that I just did my first session last week is with a fellow by the name of Ian Abbott. And I'm not going to remember the name of his actual group that he's created, but it's a men-led, men-only parenting one. It's in person, and then he has like a hybrid component with Zoom. Yeah, it's really rad. I love it. It was so cool to go in that. I got to go in person last week.
What led you to even sign up for a parenting course? Because I feel like we all kind of evaluate how we are as parents, and we're all probably second-guessing ourselves and our decisions at some point. But I don't think a lot of people take it to that next level. And I think that's, I think it's super cool, especially being in the entrepreneur world where a lot of people will take programs and courses, but not
Well, yeah, I mean, being involved in different courses and masterminds kind of like opens your idea to always wanting to educate and learn new stuff. I would say there's probably also a little bit of component of maybe some like behavioral, you know, things where, you know, my daughter's struggling in certain areas. So how can I help? And so that was like a big driver as well of like, I need to educate myself on these things and see how I can be more helpful and supportive for her. And then also my therapist or counselor that I see on a regular basis runs this this particular program. And so that was, you know, the other thing is like, I knew it was there. And I think sometimes if you don't know, some people don't, I mean, I don't know. I didn't honestly until I met her, like a parenting course. What? Like, whether we just all wing it and hope for the best, you know, like
see how we turned out.
Exactly. Right. And that is, but like some key things, like, I mean, the whole nervous system, we were talking about that earlier before we hit record today. And that intrigues me a lot, is just how, you know, you go through those different phases and how it goes back to the cave man and woman days of, you know, of our nervous systems protecting us from danger. And otherwise we would have all got eaten by woolly mammoths and we never would be here right now. And so, you know, there's that component of protecting you, but just how it can also, you know, debilitate you as well. And so that's like, I find that really fascinating and interesting in how that correlates to our children and how the things that you learn in those young ages of your life are, kind of like set the tone for your nervous system moving forward. Now it's correctable.
Right.
It's like public speaking, but sometimes it's reps. Like there's nothing, you can't just be like, hey, nervous system, I'm going to tell you every day that I'm comfortable public speaking. It is still going to freak out when you go out there on a stage, right? Like, and so it just becomes reps and teaching it and understanding that it's okay.
Like building of the confidence.
Yeah.
So, because I do a lot of speaking.
Yes.
The first time, I don't even know if I should tell this story while I'm still serving, but I'm gonna tell it. No censorship here on Build Matters. So the first time I had to do public speaking, it was in front of a big auditorium, and it was in the military, and so like, I'm, the bottom of your shoe. I'm just like a nobody in the system, the lowest rank, that you're so scared.
Yeah, of course.
Because everybody's yelling at you and like that's allowed. And I remember that I was working this admin job that was about parental Mattapata benefits. So it was maternity and parental benefits.
Okay, yeah.
Nothing that I cared about at the time or had any exposure to.
Right.
I'm brand new. A civilian was in charge of this, but civilians can say no, and the military people can't.
Right.
So they wanted her to speak, and she said no. And so they were like, okay, well, you're going to do it. And this was 2004.
Yeah.
I was brand new. I think I was maybe in my 20s.
Right.
Anyways, I purposely got lost. And so I was like, okay, well, this is the most, least punishment bearing way that I can get out of this, because I can't just refuse it.
Yeah.
So I get lost. I show up 45 minutes late to this thinking,
hoping that it would be over.
Yeah, because it was during my session.
Right,
so I didn't show up.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
But I did show up.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and immediately they like handed me this Britney Spears type headset.
Perfect timing.
And they're like, perfect timing. We put somebody else on. You're up next.
My goodness.
Threw me out there, and I had to give this like hour-long briefing to 400 people in this warfare center. So there's like this, it's like an auditorium. At the end, the chief, like the big head guy it's in the Navy, and so he came up to me, and I remember him saying, my rank was able seaman at the time. Okay. So he said, able seaman, do you know how many times you said during that presentation? And like, you're standing at attention. And I'm like, no, chief.
Yeah.
Just rip the Band-Aid. Like, tell me I'm a piece of shit and let me go.
Yeah.
I said, no, chief. And he said, not once.
Oh, nice. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's how they play. They
yeah.
mind fuck.
143 points.
Yeah. No trauma there.
Yeah.
But he said that, and he was like, you spoke at a level higher than people well above your rank. Wow. They wrote this like big letter of appreciation. They sent it to my boss. And it was that moment that I was like, that I got that confidence. And the funny thing is, in school, I actually did those like public speaking, in class, like you got to write it.
Sure.
And then I would win the class, and then won the actual school, and then went off to like this regional thing.
Yeah.
And it was all about garbage.
Oh, yeah.
That was my speech. It was garbage and Anne Boleyn. Those were my two things.
Right.
So I knew that I had this capability, but I still had that fear. But it wasn't until that day that chief told me how good I was. So any other time I would go and I would speak, I still felt fear.
Right.
But my internal thought started saying, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Yeah. And that's it. And to this day, no matter what, even if I have any type of, you'll be fine. Like even like before we press record, like I can feel, I want to do you justice. I want to, you've come so far, and I want to share that story, and I want this to be a good experience for you.
Yeah.
So I have that pressure, but I also just have that confidence of like,
yeah, it'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
It always works out.
I feel that I have that as well. But like, still sometimes though, you're just like, oh, I don't know. This isn't going to work out, or I'm worried about it. And I don't find that when people give me that assurance that actually helps me.
No. because it has to come from within. What I'm seeing a pattern for you is that you're somebody who recognizes a deficiency, let's call it, or like somewhere where you want to improve.
Yeah.
And then you go and you do it, though.
Right.
I think that's really cool.
Yes.
And I think more people need to take that approach.
Yes.
Because the parenting classes, the seeing a psychologist, Toastmasters.
Yeah.
So, yes. What have you learned from Toastmasters that somebody who is terrified of public speaking but wants to, how can it help them?
I mean, the group that I have is just so supportive.
Is it in person or online?
In person.
Okay.
I'm from Victoria.
Yeah.
And there was a few different groups that you could join, and a couple of them stayed remote or Zoom after COVID. And this one group was in person, and I was like, well, that makes sense to me. I didn't understand the idea of being on Zoom if I'm trying to public speak, but I mean, I guess it still is an anxious thing, and I think people would relate to that if you are in an office type setting.
But it's totally different.
Yeah.
Because you don't get the energy from the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
It's,
But I can still, I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to take away from somebody that has anxiety of speaking on Zoom, because it still can be anxious.
Oh yeah, it's
an anxious thing as well. But I wanted in person anyway. And I actually thought I was just going to go there and it was going to be this kind of willy-nilly thing. Like, I mean, you all see those like movies of like, and I've never been to one, like an AA meeting. And again, they're probably well structured and everything too. But I just think to go in there and be like, so I got this problem, and in a way you're going to go. And I'm sure it's a very structured meeting thing, and the same with Toastmasters. And so there's actually set roles. And so you can be like, you could, volunteer to be the grammarian for the day, and your job is to look for the ums and ahs and give some feedback to the group at the end of the meeting. So it's not a big, long 10-minute speech. It's just a quick 1 minute go up and, I noticed the group was great today on the ums and ahs. There's usually 2 structured speeches in the meeting. And so then you'll maybe give them a little bit more feedback, like you were a little, on the uhs or whatever. And so then, there's different roles. Anyway, it's a connection thing too. Like you're meeting with people and you're getting to know people. So it's like just as much the networking piece as it is the actual public speaking.
What kind of people are in the group?
Well, people that are trying to do better, obviously. People are trying to better themselves. And
are they like entrepreneurs? Are they coming from different industries? All different demographics?
Mix. Some are government workers, some are, entrepreneurs, some are, just they work for a company and they want to advance or construct. There's a couple guys in our group that are in construction companies that project management roles that, want to take leadership positions. And, often you'll see like fire service or police, people. Actually, one of our guys is a detective. So he's one of the ones that would be up there, giving the podium debrief or whatever. And it's just like super supportive and it just pushes you. But then like, it's funny though, because then you get comfortable with them. And that's what happened to me when I got invited to go speak at this thing, because I rolled out of Toastmasters and I had practiced. They actually allowed me time to practice that particular speech 3 times.
Okay.
So I went 3 Thursdays in a row and I practiced that same speech. It changed every time, but the premise was the same. Right. And then I went to this, mini conference mastermind thing to deliver that same speech. And I was wrecked. The first time ever, my mouth went dry. My palms were sweating. I actually did a video on my social media.
I feel like this is an M&M.
I 100%. I actually did a video.
I thought you were recording it right now. I was like,
palms are sweating. Yeah, exactly. Spaghetti all over my sweater. It was, and so that. That was, it was interesting for me. When I get back on Wednesday, Thursday, I'm going to my usual Toastmasters and I'll be competing in the international speech competition internally with my group. If I'm selected, I'll move to the next stage to compete at I believe the district. And so that would be in front of a bunch of strangers again. And so that's like I said to the couple kind of education leads at my Toastmasters group, I said, this year my goal is to get as many opportunities outside of this group to speak.
Incredible.
So if there's any opportunities, put me in that and sign me up, because I need to get in front of people that I feel uncomfortable. And it's like the same with doing this podcast. I think you and I had sort of teetered this idea a couple months ago, and I was like, no, not a chance, not happening. And I was like, I got to, because I this is something I want to do.
I'm always thinking, okay, who's relatable and what would be a good story to be told. And I could see that you were really coming out of that shell that you had.
Yeah.
But when we talked about it, yeah, I could see that like, yeah, like interest, but also wall and fear, and then left it. And then all of a sudden, I think I had like a 3-minute voice note of you just being like, hey, I'm in, I'm telling it. And I loved it. Yeah. And like, again, you're an action guy, and that was probably like less than 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And here you are doing the thing. And like, when you speak, doors open.
Yeah.
And when you speak with intention and impact, and people, you just never know who's going to hear it and what takeaway somebody's going to get from that. And then as you tell your story, you're just going to get stronger and stronger at it and more conviction. And
totally.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, I made a reference to Terry Fox earlier, and I actually think about him a lot of times when I'm running, because like, talk about a, you know, influential character or, you know, a person in our history. And so I think about him all the time when I'm running, because I'm like, man, like what that guy went through. And so like, but then I wonder sometimes, because sometimes I frame it in a negative way of like, stop being a little bitch, get on with it kind of thing, right? Rather than like a compassionate internal voice, right? Like I'll be like, oh, look what he did. Why are you being a baby? You know, instead of just like a word of encouragement. And so that's something I've been working on, is that internal dialogue. It's like, it's okay to push yourself, but like put it in a way that's, you know, comforting or soft, and actually doesn't like kind of beat you up.
There's
Does that make sense?
Totally, because I used to do CrossFit quite heavily. Can't believe it's the first time I'm dropping that, but that was my thing. And then of course military. So Remembrance Day, we do something like a hero WOD, it's called. And Remembrance Day, we always do pain train. And during a hero WOD, like they're meant to be grueling. They're meant to be really tough. Workout of the day is what WOD would stand for anybody that doesn't know CrossFit. But when you do it, when I do it specifically, I think about, you know, the heroes that we've lost, the pain that they've gone through, the circumstances, especially Remembrance Day, thinking about like the veterans and what they had to endure. And so it fuels me to keep going. But I don't do it from a place of like, you're a piece of shit. Like, how are you tired right now? Those guys were digging trenches. I do it from almost like a place of respect. Like, yeah, you're tired, but these guys endured.
I like that.
And I'm going to do that for them today. And it's not about you right now. It's about them. And so it's like a really nice way to reframe that.
I'm really happy that you shared that with me.
If somebody was listening today, what do you wish that they would know? What do you wish that they would hear? And when I say somebody, I mean Shane 2 years ago. Like what did you need to hear 2 years ago to fast forward you to where you are today?
Ooh. That's a deep question. I feel like I could go so many different.
Where does like your gut tell you? Not the analytical side that thinks of like the right answer. What's like?
Yeah, it's not like the right answer. It's just kind of like, I mean, I always like, when I've been asked that question before, and I always think like, I just go back and tell myself, hey, it's going to be okay. Like, you know, that's the
Sometimes
first,
that's
right?
what
Like,
you need to hear,
hey, like, man, you're going to be all right. Like, it's fine. Take a breath, right? Don't be so intense. Like, it's going to be, but then I fast forward and I'm like, I'm still intense.
I was just going to say that 10 kilometers.
Yeah, like I'm still intense. And so I feel like I always want to tell myself to just slow down and enjoy the moments. That's like the big thing for me, because I don't, you know, like you say about like, and I love your vertical integration thing, and I wish I could find a way that would work in my world, because I just don't feel that I ever really, you know, I do these things because they're, you know, they're important to me, but do I ever really feel like I relax? Like, I don't know if I do. Like, I'm always feeling like I'm on edge. And so I'd always like to go back to myself and be like, take a breath and just like chill out a bit. And I think I have in a lot of ways. And I'm probably thinking more of like seasons as far as like say my construction business to here.
Yeah.
And that's been almost 3 years. But the change there is just having trust in other people. And so instead of, when I had my construction company, I micromanaged everybody. Everybody. I thought I could do it faster and better than anybody. So why would I send somebody over to go do that gig? I could just, and I had staff, but it was just, if a deficiency came up, I would just, and so that was been the biggest lesson for me. And like getting into real estate is like being able to, bring people on and just let them do their job. Like I would say there was half of like people like, what made you get into real estate? And it's like, well, I've always been, like my answer is always, I was always interested in that.
Right.
But the real reason was I was burnt out and I was looking for something else to do.
Okay.
Because I thought that like the change was going to like help. And I didn't intend on quitting the construction. I thought I was just going to get my license and it was going to be this thing I was just going to do as well as. And then within 3 months, I was like, this is my gig. And I basically shut down my company. My staff went to work for my friend and I gave my two main guys the company trucks as like parting gifts. Like just, it all happened really quickly. And then I got in and then it was like, I just all of a sudden got exposed to some really great people really quickly. And that was the big one. And
did it give you what you were looking for? Like you got exposed to the great people, but was that what you were looking for when you left construction? I don't think I had any clue. I don't think I had a freaking clue what I was getting into. Yeah. I thought that all my friends were going to just call me to help me sell their houses. Like that's what I legit thought. Like I know so many people that like everybody will just call me and it'll be easy. And like luckily that an old business partner of mine who was actually the real estate agent and I was the contractor and we bought and sold and flipped homes together, connected me with my mentor Phil Hahn at eXp Realty. Amazing. And that's where that like kind of just went from there. And now we've created this great friendship. And but I had no idea. I just had no idea what I was getting into. And I thought that people were just going to call me. And there's the saying that your friends will call you for free advice and then hire somebody else. Is that true? Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, oh, what do you think about this house? And then next thing you run into them at a barbecue in 2 weeks, they're like, oh, I ended up buying it. I called the listing agent. And you're like, bro, right? Blocked. Yeah. I love the reels you see of like real estate agents of just like I don't mind if my friend hires somebody else and then he opens up the trunk and the person's taped up in the car or whatever. And or your friend hires another realtor and then he's running over the sign in the front yard or something. But anyway, I had no idea. And so then I meet, this Phil fellow and, he gives me a lot of guidance and, it's really been a great friend and, maybe even a little bit of a father figure. He's helped me in a lot of ways, with other aspects. He introduced me to my counselor. Yeah. To Allison. Yeah. Right. And so he's just been instrumental. Now, I will say though, I struggled a little bit with identity when I first started because we're not the same people, him and I. And he's got a lot of different strategies than I do. And a lot of them, they've worked well and they served him, but they weren't true and authentic to me. And so I would say the first 6 months, like I was living in somebody else's, in the business. Yes. It worked. It worked. Sure. Like it got me ahead and I got the wheels moving and I made deals and, I sold 22 houses in my first year in business, but is it sustainable? But it wasn't me. It wasn't true to who I was. And so I had to mold it. What gave you the courage to shift to your identity? It just didn't feel right in my heart. Right. I just felt like I was playing a numbers game and it was just, and it is a numbers game when you're dealing with lead generation and online leads. I mean, it's a numbers game in a sense of, if I get 100 leads, then I'm going to convert 2%, I'm going to get 2 deals out of it. So it's a number game that way. But to me, it's not transactional, it's relationships. And so I was treating it like a transaction. I was going in there like a robot. Yep. I was trying to go for the kill. I was trying to get that contract signed and that's all I cared about. And it was actually my mentor again, who it was a saying that sort of like went for me in the sales. And it was, people don't care how much you know, they want to know how much you care. I agree with that. Yeah, and that was like for me, and then all of a sudden I started going into my listing appointments. Because I built this fancy, book
let me show you what Shane can do for you.
Right.
Here's all the things that Shane can do. And like people don't, like I want to, and so now I go in, there's no book. I bring a notebook just so I take notes. I'm a professional, but it's just all questions.
Yeah.
You know, what's important to you? Where are you going? Like, what's the plan? Why are you selling now?
People just want to be heard.
And and that's, and you're still not going to win them all because some people you just don't click with, and that's fine. Like, I'm okay if, you know, they have a better vibe from somebody else. And unfortunately some, you know, people just get a lure of a price tag that an agent will tell them their house is worth, you know. And I'm honest with people. I say to them like, hey, like, just be mindful that I'm going to be super honest with you, but I'm not always right.
Yep. And
I don't have a crystal ball. And I said, any other real estate agent that's coming in and tells you exactly what your place is selling for, I don't know. Not sure about that, right? Like, that's just my, right? Like, nobody can predict that to the T. And so, like, that's how I am. I'm just super honest and open with people. And if it doesn't work or they don't hire me, then I think of it, it's kind of like, okay, well, I did everything I could, and it's kind of there.
If you're good at what you do and you want to have that relationship, should be built on trust. I've sold and bought lots of houses, and we always defer to our realtor on like, what do you think the price should be?
Right.
Why do you think that it should be this? And then what are the pros and cons of like, if we do go higher or if we go lower? And so, you know, if you get just yes men, then you're just going to have lots of headaches. But I have one last question I want to ask you. I've been saving it to the end.
Okay. I haven't cried yet.
You haven't cried yet. Still time. What is that one question that I haven't asked you that I should have asked you? You've come all this way. You have a story to tell. What have I not asked you? What have you skirted in this conversation and avoided talking to me about? And
whoa. All right, let's sign up for another little while here.
Get comfortable.
Oh, wow. I mean,
what's that one thing?
Well, we haven't talked much about, I mean, we talked a little bit, but I guess about like, you know, real estate. And then I've got this new Instagram thing that I'm doing. And, you know, we've touched about authenticity and showing up and everything. But one thing I thought you were going to ask me, and I prepped for a little bit about, is like, what's your goal with that? What are you doing with that?
What is your goal with that?
And that's the question I didn't have the answer to. And so that was, so thanks for not asking me that, but that's.
Should do like the Alex and Tony, and just like go full coach mode.
Yeah, coach me up on this. So, you know, like I said to you earlier, we were talking about just, you know, giving back and value, and that's like, and what's lighting me up. But I wonder if there's a little bit of a piece of it being a little bit of a mask for me right now. Like, and what I mean by that is like, it's a replacement, like from like something else. And then I also wonder but I also do see the value in that it's like, it is teaching and healing me. So each one of those videos that I put up and I talk about something that's uncomfortable or that I'm dealing with, or, you know, that I've learned, it kind of reinforces it. Because then I feel like I have an obligation to that audience. Right? It's kind of like announcing that you're doing a thing, and then you kind of have to do the thing. When you teach and lead, you do better. Yeah. I mean, you want to show up better. Yeah. Because now you're an example. Exactly. Yeah. 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 And so when you're sitting there talking about, you know, something about the nervous system or whatever, and what you're practicing, and then it like reinforces for you to practice that all the time. And so I think that's a great, you know, good piece of why I'm doing that. But there's also probably a mask or a replacement piece. And, you know, we've gone through a transition in my life over the last 11 months with a separation. And so that's, you know, created some, you know, something to keep me going, I guess, at times, or keep me focused on something. But like I said, I think, or I know what I'm doing is helping other people, and I'm getting those messages all the time. And I've had this argument with my best friend, who we both know quite well. And he was mad at me for doing this for the first little while, because he, didn't get the, like, and I don't have a monetization goal with it right now, but there is big monetization goal. I mean, you know, with Instagram and with different social media platforms, you can make a very good living.
My personal brand is my strongest asset, and I own a lot of real estate.
Right.
Like that.
Right. And so it will open up doors and conversations and you know, and opportunity down the road. But you know, he felt that I should be focusing on my real estate business. And why are you taking away from this? And why do you care so much about this? And if you put that much effort into, you know, your real estate business, then, you know, you would be leaps and bounds ahead. But I think it's a healing thing for me. You know, it's helping me express, you know, challenges and things that are going on in my life, and that feels good, and it turns out it's helping other people, and so that's like the big win for me on that, and I think it pairs well with real estate. People just get to know who I am, and talking about saying no to certain people, and you know, showing up authentically. It's just going to show the people. It's going to attract the people that I want to work with.
Well, trust and credibility today. I mean, when the masses go online. And now with AI, I mean, the amount of noise that is out there right now, it's really hard to know, okay, what's legit? Who can I trust? Just because you show up doesn't mean that you're the right person and the trustworthy. And so it isn't until you can actually be authentic, genuine. That's where that trust gets built. And when you do it right, then people associate that with you, and all your businesses and any other endeavor that you want to do, real estate included, leverages it. And so, like, if you do it right, your personal brand is going to be much stronger than your real estate one will ever be. What I've seen with you, and you're getting there, like you'll have some posts that'll be like, okay, that's legit. Like that's coming like from the heart. That's real deep. Right. And I think that's going to be the differentiator for people, because it's what I've been doing, and it's also therapeutic for me. And it's funny because listening to the Hormozy and Robbins thing, like the pragmatic brain of me is like duty and obligation, because that's very military and serve others. So I need to change my language, but I do feel an obligation because I post the highlight reels. I share all of the, like, this is amazing, right? And I have people who look up to me, and so I feel obligated to show that, like, I don't have it all together, and I have bad days, and like really bad days. And it's why Build What Matters was created, because I actually want to normalize struggle, because that is life.
I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, because, you know, we showing up authentically, and I know most of your content now is probably just like, hey, I'm Victoria, and I'm going to tell you what's on my mind here in this moment. But but those are probably not getting a ton of traction compared to like maybe like somebody like Adley Kinsman that's doing a video that's just like goofing around with her husband. And so I wonder though, like, and because I've got a little bit of pepper of both. I've got those classic meme videos, honestly, of me running down the beach with the heading telling you to freaking kick ass or whatever it is, or something that I'm struggling with. They do have meaning to me, but they get, you know, I've got a couple right now, 8, 9, 10,000 views. We've got one that's got 50,000 views, and they do bring followers, and then those followers interact with my other content, and so I feel that if I don't put out some of that kind of fluffy stuff, that I'm not going to attract people that would be interested in my stuff anyway. And so, you know what I mean?
Oh, I totally do. And I think that there is strategy that can get more reach. But what I've learned is that the conversion and the metrics that I'm measuring is not the virality of my post. It's going to be the conversations that come from it. And sometimes actually when you get posts that go viral, so I'll use my TikTok for example, that went fucking viral for the motel. Anytime I talk about the motel, I'm at like 500,000 views. It's nuts. It's nuts. That made me $1 million posting that on TikTok. What it does is it sucks for my like coaching, for the business side of it, because what I like amassed 20,000 followers like that
Right.
on TikTok, but they're not my avatar. They're not the people that I actually want to talk to.
Yes.
So when you go viral, you're going to the generalities.
Yes.
And that attention is there.
Yes.
But are you actually nurturing and converting that attention, and you want to lead them towards your business? It just depends on like what the intent is. Now, if you were turning yours into something to do with motivation, something to do maybe running, like you've been doing a lot of running posts on that, then maybe you could get a brand deal in with running shoes and that type of stuff. You could actually then, there's ways to work it. But for me, I have a high ticket offer. It's a 12-month program. People need to be like heavily committed to come in, and there needs to be high trust. So the virality is not, those are not going to be my people.
Right.
It's the ones who are watching. I had somebody the other day, somebody had like recommended me in Bosses for Bosses, which is like an Ottawa Facebook page for like entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And somebody was looking for a coach. Somebody I've never worked with recommended me in there.
Wow.
And somebody else just joined that community, like the week later reached out to me and was like, I have had no intention coming here into this community. I don't post in that community. I don't think I've ever done one post. And they said, I saw your name. I checked out your content. Oh my God, like everything that you are saying is aligned.
Wow.
Hopped on a call and like that, she signed up.
Wow.
And she's amazing. She is the right fit. She's highly motivated. She's a badass. Off to Dubai to do some like big stuff right now. So it was just like the content just sold for me.
For me, I do want to build like a community, like of people that are, you know, that are going through or feeling the same things that I'm, you know, going through. And so that's important to me. But I just feel like if you're not putting your best foot forward and you're not putting out stuff, that you could miss somebody along the way, you know? So it's like, let's just put out some of this stuff and put out some of this stuff, because then we're going to grab these certain people. And I don't have a, you know, a sales funnel or goal that way. So I don't need to filter through the people, but
the impact will be there. If you think of like a crowd, and if you're calling out to everybody, nobody's actually looking, because they're like, no, he's talking to somebody else.
Right.
But if you were to actually be like, Victoria Cluney, I'm looking.
Yeah.
Or Victoria, all the Victorias are looking.
Right.
Right. Ladies, all the ladies will look.
Yeah.
So that's what your content is. And when you put it out there to everybody, then nobody actually is listening. So when you actually can think of somebody, and that was going to be my last, I promise, follow-up question, was like, who are you talking to? Who's that person? Is it Shane, who needs to hear it today? Was it like your previous self, or is there somebody different when you pick up that camera and you don't see a face, but is there somebody on the other side for you?
I think I just want people to be able to feel heard. So it's just people that feel they are going through a struggle and they want to be heard. And then they want some support and some help and to be understood, because I feel like, you know, we've talked about, you and I personally lots of times on, you know, or over text about the authentic piece and authenticity, and social media loves to, you know, give you things to compare to that aren't realistic. And for me, that's like been a huge problem for me, and a hard probably part of my lack of growth is by, you know, thinking that these people were bigger and better than me just because they have more followers, or they've done a longer run than I have, or they've closed more deals than I have. And it doesn't mean that I'm not capable of it. I'm just not there yet, and I've got to work at it. And so I just think that that's, for me, is like giving people hope. And so anybody that needs, you know, to hear that message, that's who I want to speak to.
On that note, I think that concludes the marathon. That's marathon podcast.
Yes.
Do you feel the energy shift? You're going to watch this podcast. You're going to see the beginning.
The cringe.
The button up. But you know what? That's relatable too. Like to me, that's.
I was like, I'm so nervous. At the
Oh my
beginning.
God! Yeah.
And it's so, and you were right. And I actually love that you called it out. I did because I was like, yeah, and I knew it. I could feel it. I could see it. I could see it, you know, and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I like, I'm going to posture. I'm going to like answer everything to the T for you. And actually, even like when I just went to the washroom and came back, I felt a little bit more loose. And so, yeah, it's just, I don't know what it is. It's just that like nervousness and more not and like being on jumping on the spot, right?
So normal.
But I felt myself start to sink in. And once you called me on it, it didn't help initially, but then it did help.
I know. I was like, "Ooh, this is either."
I was like, "Oh."
Either we're gonna have to restart this whole thing.
Yeah.
But you handled it like a champ.
No, it's great.
And you turned it, and I honestly, like, to me, that's the impact.
Yeah.
Just even that transition and going through that, and then being open to that shift.
Yeah.
I actually think that is the big impact there.
Cool.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
It was fun. Yeah.